Hey everybody, it's Kim and we're back in Kim's kitchen, and I knew you were going to join me again. I know that you want to make tabbouleh. You want to make some healthy, nutritious food so you can lower your stress and manage your weight better. So I wanted you to join me here watching me chop up these vegetables so I can give you a couple tips that's going to help you to chop easier, get the job done faster so you're not in the kitchen all day chopping vegetables. Okay, so I've already ahead of you a little bit. I've been chopping the tomatoes up. You can see that I'm using this little sieve strainer and this little bowl. The tomatoes have already been washed and I've already cut up almost all of them. And then I've got on my board, I've got a bunch more that I cut up, but I have some that I haven't cut up yet. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the tomato, I'm placing it on the board. Take the little blossom end out of it, if you can see what I'm doing, and then cut the tomato into slices, and then again slice the other way on also. So yeah, I've got little squares of tomatoes, so little pieces of tomatoes. You can kind of see the size of piece I got. So that's not too big, not too small, and that's what we're going to put in the salad. So you can see right now, or maybe you can't see, I don't know, is they're very juicy tomatoes. So what we're going to do is I've got all the juice in here. We're just going to push them right off the board into this sieve strainer so that the juice is going to collect in the bottom of the bowl. So see how it's collecting quite a bit? They're very juicy tomatoes. So finishing off this tomato, I'm just going to take my little spatula there, and I'm going to get all the water off the board into the bowl so that it can continue straining. All right. Now I'm going to be doing the parsley so that you can see what I'm doing with the parsley. So all that juice went right into the bowl. Of course, I made a mess on the counter, so there's a little bit of mess on the counter too. So no big deal. You can clean it up later. It's only tomato juice. So I'm going to put those aside and get let them strain out so that we're going to put them in the container later, the salad. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up some of this juice off the counter here, is I'm going to do the parsley. And I want you to pay attention closely so that you can get this parsley chopped right up real quick. Okay, so I've got the bunch, and all of the stems are at the bottom. I've cut off any brown spots off the bottom of the stems. So what I'm going to do, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to chop with my knife in my right hand. I'm going to hold the bunch in my left hand. So we are going to chop the stems quite finely, but we are eating those. We're putting those right in the salad. All right, so take your the parsley on your cutting board. Sorry, this is a little difficult to see, but start on the one end here and chop it really fine. Chop right on through. Hold the bunch of parsley really tightly. Keep your fingers away from the knife, of course, and just chop the stems up nice and finely. Just a little 1/8 of an inch maybe between slices. And next thing you know, you got all the stems cut. So can you hear me chopping? And it's a fairly sharp knife, so don't worry about your knife. Just keep your fingers away from it, all right? Now, what I'm going to do now that I've come down to the rest of the bunch, it's quite poofy and everything. So what I'm going to do is divide it in half, put that other half aside for a moment, and I'm going to continue chopping through the parsley part. So I'm going to keep on scrunching the bunch of parsley together so that I can chop it. And now I'm chopping about 1/4 inch apart with each chop. With each chop, I'm moving my hand back and so that I don't cut my fingers. But I'm holding on tightly to the bunch of parsley so that each time I chop, I'm only chopping this much at a time. And it's not spread out all over the place. Don't let it spring all over the place. And just keep on chopping until you get down to the end. Take your fingers away from it and then chop the rest that's left on the board. Does that make sense? And then I'm just going to push that right into my container. The other bunch is already in there. Looks great, huh? Not too big of pieces. Nothing that we're going to have to eat a big chunk of, but nothing that looks like mowed grass either. We don't want it chopped too fine, and that's how we'll do that. Does that make sense, folks? Perfect. So the next thing we're going to be doing, I'll finish off the other part of this parsley in just a moment, because I wanted to show you the onions also. So the onions, I am going to take them with just a little knife. I'm going to cut them in half, and then I'm going to cut down the middle of the white part, right down there. And then I'm going to put the pieces together, and then I'm going to chop them quite finely too. So can you see what I'm doing there? Just chopping right through. Keep the bunch all together and chop right through it. And I'm using a little serrated knife because I find that works better than a flat edge chopping knife, and that works good for me. So that's what I'm doing. So was those some good tips for you? I hope so. We don't want you in the kitchen all day chopping. We want to be enjoying this food. All right, so let's come back to the next video. See you then. And we're going to make the dressing, and we're going to have this all together. The quinoa is in the fridge cooling off, and so we'll be back to put this together. We'll see you then. Hope you're having a good time. Bye for now. Love you.